The F1 75 live livery launch is over, and we have seen all of the liveries for the 2025 season. Some of them look very good, some of them look exactly the same, and some still somehow look pretty terrible. But now F1 is moving on to pre-season testing as we finally get to see all of the cars out on track, which means that it is time for my preview and predictions. This is a series where I will be previewing and then giving out some early predictions for what I think will happen. If you enjoyed the video, then please hit the like button and subscribe for more F1 content. But now, let's get into the video. As usual, I'll be talking about the top teams later on, so please do stick around for that. As I said, it is officially testing week, and we are going to be seeing all of the brand new F1 cars out on track in anger, as the teams will be looking to learn as much as they possibly can about their brand new cars before the season gets underway at Melbourne. Pre-season testing is one of the most important times of the year for the teams, as this is where they will learn if they are either in for a good or a not so good season. Overall, fastest lap times are not the most important thing during testing. Instead, the teams will be looking to get as much mileage and data as they possibly can try to get so that they can iron out any issues with their cars. This is the final year of these regulations for both the aerodynamics and also the power units, so really there should not be too many power units or reliability issues, but there can always be some nagging issues which spring a surprise. If this is the case, then the teams will need to ensure that any issues that they do find in testing will be quickly resolved, so they don't have any unwanted issues when it comes to the first race. Similar to last year, testing consists of just 3 days, meaning that they don't have as much time as they used to back in the day, and they don't have as much time to be sat at the side of the track, where they used to do maybe 2 or even 3 3-day tests. In reality, there's not really any need for these additional tests for the main drivers, as the cars are already pretty much ironed out, and they just need a little bit of time to get off the race rust. However, in 2025, there is a large number of rookies on the grid, and they will likely be wishing that they had extra time to test, instead of just having 1.5 days of pre-season testing to get used to life in F1 machinery before the first race at Melbourne. With there being more rookies on the grid, then I do think it is more likely that we will see interrupted running with red flags, as I can see there being a couple of incidents with the young drivers just trying to push the limits and see what they have underneath them. And it might not just be the rookies that lose control, as we saw with Lewis Hamilton crashing the Ferrari during the test at Barcelona. The pre-season test takes place at the Sakhir Circuit in Bahrain. Bahrain is frankly one of the best places for them to go testing. They used to go to Barcelona and Jerez in Spain, however the weather conditions would typically mean that all the running was completely irrelevant. Bahrain, however, will have nice warm temperatures, which is more in line with the races during the season. Not only is the weather favourable, but also the circuit is a great layout for testing. The circuit will challenge the cars in a number of different ways. The circuit will test their straight line speed performance down the long straights, their ability on the brakes, their mechanical grip in slow speed corners, and also the stability of the car at high speed. Turn 1, Turn 8 and Turn 14 all test the car's abilities in heavy braking zones. Turn 9 and Turn 10 will test the stability of the cars in the corner, as it is a very tricky braking zone where they are both cornering and braking heavily. Finally, Turns 5, 6, 7 and Turn 12 test the car's ability to change direction at medium to high speed corners, which will test their downforce levels. And finally, the first couple of corners test the car's ability in slow speed corners and the mechanical grip of the car. All of this together makes Bahrain a great place to go and test. Bahrain is also very tough on tyres, meaning that we can get an early indication into what drivers and teams still have to work on in order to make sure that their cars don't eat up their tyres during the races to come. As I mentioned, mileage is far more important when it comes to pre-season testing, and the team that managed the most amount of mileage in 2024 was Haas, as they were just running race distance after race distance in order to see if they had gotten on top of their tyre wear issues from 2023, and let's be honest, it really paid off for them. they clocked in a total of 441 laps over the 3 days. The fastest lap time from last year's pre-season test was set by Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari, as he set a lap time of a 1:29.921 on day 2. Just to show though how unimportant pre-season testing lap times are, Zhou Guanyu in the Sauber was the 4th fastest driver. As it is a test, Pirelli will be bringing all 6 dry compounds of tyres, and it means we will likely get our first look at the brand new C6 tyre. The C6 tyre will likely see minimal running, as it was only good for a part of the lap at Abu Dhabi during a test, and Abu Dhabi is much kinder to tyres than Bahrain. In general, I anticipate that we will see the majority of the running being done on the C2 and C3 tyres, as that is most likely what they will be running for the Bahrain Grand Prix. I just want to say, if you are enjoying the video so far, then I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe for more F1 content. But now, let's get back to the video. For the midfield teams, it is looking like 2025 will be even closer than what we saw in 2024, as Alpine, Haas, Aston Martin, VCarb and Williams will likely all be fighting for the coveted 5th place in the Constructors' Championship. I anticipate that we are going to see a much stronger car from Alpine based on how they ended the 2024 season, and we could see them being a lot more impressive than they were, especially at the beginning of last season. Pierre Gasly is definitely leading the team, as Jack Doohan is already under threat from losing his seat to Franco Colapinto. This could open up the door for a team like Haas or maybe even Williams, who both have improved driver lineups for this season, at least in my opinion. I expect a lot of laps from these teams, especially Williams, as they now have 2 very capable drivers in Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon. For Mercedes, they've taken a giant risk with their driver lineup for 2025, as they have put the very young rookie Kimi Antonelli in the Mercedes seat alongside George Russell. And for Mercedes, with this in mind, I expect that they will be wanting to get race runs under their belt for Antonelli, more so than him doing any fast laps. I think this would make a lot of sense for them. We have already seen that Antonelli is lightning fast, but now it is about getting the race runs under his belt. For Mercedes as well in general, last year, they were pretty far off the top 3 teams when it came to race pace. This is an area that they must improve on. They struggled with tyre wear in 2024 and really were only strong when the temperatures were lower, which is why they were so strong at Las Vegas. With testing at Bahrain, we can get a much better insight as to whether or not they have fixed any tyre wear issues. With this in mind, I expect that we will see Mercedes try to complete the most amount of laps of any team. For Red Bull, they dropped from 1st to 3rd in the Constructors' Championship in 2024, but even so, Max Verstappen managed to win the Drivers' Championship. However, Red Bull now have to face the reality that they are potentially starting the season with not having the fastest car, and face the fact that this test will be very, very important for them. Red Bull were excellent at the high-speed, high-downforce corners last year. However, the car really struggled at heavy braking zones and in the slow-speed corners. Bahrain features a lot of these, so we will see if Red Bull have really improved in these areas. The corners that I expect to see really test them is Turn 1, 2 and 3, and also Turn 10. If they are still struggling in the same areas as 2024, then it will be noticeable in these corners, and they will lose out to Mclaren and Ferrari, who I expect based on last year to be pretty strong in these areas. They were also weaker on tyre wear and race trim in 2024 compared to Ferrari and McLaren, so we will see if they have improved in these areas. Liam Lawson will also need to very quickly get up to speed, as Red Bull will not have the luxury of waiting for Liam to get used to the car. This means that Lawson in this test needs to get to speed very quickly and get comfortable very quickly, so like I said with Antonelli, I expect Lawson to be doing a lot of laps. For Ferrari then, they finished 2024 being in general the closest cars to the fastest teams, whether it be McLaren or Red Bull in terms of overall pace and performance. And they are entering 2025 with an even bigger lineup as they have acquired the services of Lewis Hamilton, who will be partnering Charles Leclerc. To many, this is a dream team and they will be going all out to try and win both championships, and win their first championship since 2008 with the Constructors' Championship, and their first Drivers' Championship since 2007. They ended 2024 with a great car, and with this driver lineup, I anticipate that Ferrari will be looking to try and make a statement, and that statement is that they are here to win. With this in mind, I expect that they will be the team most likely to hunt for the fastest lap during the test. Lewis Hamilton is taking a big gamble this late in his career to switch teams. It is very much Charles Leclerc's team now, but even so, Lewis Hamilton will be hunting for his 8th Drivers' Championship. Teammate Charles Leclerc will be looking to win his first World Championship, and with Red Bull potentially looking a little bit weaker this year, then we could see one of these two spring up a huge surprise and go for the Drivers' Championship. So, they will also be looking to start with excellent mileage during the test. I expect very good things from Ferrari based on how 2024 was and how things seem to be going so far in 2025. Finally, for McLaren, they shocked everyone by winning their first Constructors' Championship since 1998. And the McLaren team learned what it was like to become frontrunners and race winners once again. Lando, Norris and Oscar Piastri scored their first Grand Prix victories in 2024, and McLaren really looked like the complete package by the end of the season. I anticipate that they will be very confident that this year will be another strong season, and for them, it will be about getting the mileage on board just to make sure that the new car will be just as good as the previous one. Lando Norris will be gunning for this year's Drivers' World Championship and will be wanting to start strong. This has been a weak point for McLaren over the last few years. In 2022 and 2023, they started the season right at the back, and in 2024, they started the season behind Ferrari and Red Bull. This year, they will be looking to start off the fastest and keep themselves at the front. If they do this, then McLaren could find themselves winning both World Championships. So, with that in mind then, what are my predictions for the Bahrain pre-season test? My first prediction is that while I expect the cars to be more reliable than last year, the mileage will actually be less, as I expect that there will be more red flags from rookies making errors, bringing out those red flags. My second prediction is that the fastest lap of the test will come from Ferrari, as I expect that the Maranello team will want to come out punching, and because of that, they will set the fastest lap. My third prediction is that Mercedes will cover the most amount of miles, as they want to ensure that they have gotten on top of any tyre wear issues. My fourth prediction is that Alpine will impress the most in the midfield with Pierre Gasly. Jack Doohan, the jury's still out on, but I expect good things from Gasly. And my final prediction is that McLaren will likely have the most impressive test in terms of overall performance and pace. As they have not changed their lineup, they will potentially have the best car as well at the beginning, so I expect very good things from the Papaya team. But those are my thoughts. The question is, what do you guys think will happen? In the comment section down below, please do let me know. And as always, comment, leave a like and subscribe for more F1 content. Thank you all so much for watching.